According to TMZ, just last night, the office listed the victim's gender as female, a height of about 5'1" and 71 pounds. This person has wavy black hair, and she apparently has a tattoo on her right index finger that reads, "Shh." Apparently, she had been wearing a tube top, black leggings, had a metal stud earring, and a metal chain bracelet in the shape of a W. According to TMZ, though, to be more specific here, there is no definitive conclusion as to age, gender, or cause of death.
And then I made Romantic Homicide, and it was so different than everything else I had made because it was actually sad. It was slow, it was sad, it was emotional.
The music world just got hit with one of the darkest scandals we've ever seen. R&B singer David Anthony Burke, once considered a rising star, is now being dragged into a case that could end his entire career, and maybe his freedom. The name Celeste Rivas is at the center of it all. A 15-year-old girl whose disappearance in April 2024 and later discovery in September 2025 shocked Los Angeles is now being directly tied to David through leaked audio, Discord messages, and unreleased music that fans are calling nothing short of a confession. It started with a leak of an unreleased track allegedly called Celeste. The lyrics were chilling, talking about a young girl wrapped tight in plastic and a body left alone in the hills. Fans immediately pointed out how closely those words lined up with the details of Celeste's case, specifically how her remains were found abandoned in a car in the Hollywood Hills. Some brushed it off at first as edgy songwriting, but once screenshots from David's private Discord server surfaced, everything shifted. In those Discord messages, David allegedly bragged to fans about wrapping her in FR plastic and leaving her body in a Tesla. The posts were so specific that detectives couldn't ignore them. Then came the leaked call transcripts, where David could be heard allegedly describing strangling Celeste during a fight and dumping her in the car. Every detail lined up with the crime scene. To fans, it sounded less like a rumor and more like David had literally documented the murder across music, chats, and private conversations. Even worse, reports claim David tried to pay off people in his circle to stay quiet. Alleged hush money payments to fans and associates were mentioned in leaked group chats, with David supposedly offering thousands to make sure nobody connected the dots. But once the leaks hit TikTok, Twitter, and Reddit, it was too late. The story exploded. Hashtags with his name and #Justice for Celeste racked up billions of views. Suddenly, a promising R&B career had turned into a crime saga. The timeline only made the story more disturbing. David reportedly first connected with Celeste when she was 12 years old and he was 17, grooming her slowly through social media and fan interactions. By the time she went missing at 15, people now say the red flags were all there. Fans had seen strange interactions online, but brushed them off as parasocial drama. Now, with her body found and the leaks surfacing, those moments look like missed warning signs. David hasn't been formally charged yet, but police confirmed he's a person of interest in the LAPD's homicide investigation. His team has gone silent, shows have been canceled, and brands that once lined up to work with him are running the other way. What was once the story of a rising star is now a disturbing fall, one that could drag the entire R&B scene into one of its darkest chapters.
Authorities are treating this as a death investigation. A spokesperson for the singer, whose real name, by the way, is David Anthony Burke, said in a statement to NBC News that he, quote, has been informed about what's happened, and although he is still out on tour, he is fully cooperating with the authorities. Now, we're going to talk about potential legal consequences here, but I have to say the singer may already be feeling the economic consequences.
We got in touch with Celeste's mother, and the mother told us, because what the police had come out with was that the girl had a tattoo on her right index finger that said S.
Even before they could find out her name, they obviously had the body parts and they released some information.
And it was on her index finger, it said SHHH with 3 dots or 4 dots. And that's all we knew. The mother told us that my daughter had a tattoo on her right index finger that said the same thing, and that the tattoo, she told us, in fact, Anakin, she only spoke Spanish, so Anakin spoke to her.
Once the leaks hit the internet, the floodgates open. Screenshots from David's private Discord server were everywhere, showing him bragging about things that now read like a straight-up confession. In one chat, he allegedly wrote about keeping her quiet with FR plastic, a phrase fans linked directly to the crime scene reports about Celeste's body being found wrapped before being abandoned. In another, he allegedly joked about leaving her in a Tesla in the Hollywood Hills, the exact location where investigators later found her remains. Then came the call transcripts. A recording surfaced where David's voice could allegedly be heard describing how he and Celeste fought, how he strangled her, and how he had to get rid of her by leaving her in the car. Every single detail matched the LAPD's timeline. Whether or not the tape is 100% authentic, the internet wasn't waiting for courts to decide. Fans immediately declared it the smoking gun, calling David a predator hiding behind fame. But what made the story spiral even harder was the release of that unreleased demo, Celeste. Music blogs and TikTok creators tore it apart lyric by lyric, highlighting disturbing lines that seemed ripped from the case files. What should have been just another unreleased track became evidence in the court of public opinion. Fans asked, why would anyone name a song after a missing girl and describe her final moments unless it was real? Outrage exploded online. Hashtags like #DavidExposed and #JusticeForCeleste racked up billions of views across platforms. Twitter threads broke down every lyric, every screenshot, every timeline detail. TikTok creators reenacted the Discord leaks, stitching David's past interviews with creepy captions. Reddit went full detective mode, pulling together connections that even mainstream news outlets hadn't covered yet. What should have been an LAPD investigation turned into a massive, crowdsourced, true crime hunt. The public's anger wasn't just about the alleged murder. It was about the grooming. Fans dug up old posts of David interacting with Celeste when she was underage. Comments and DMs that once looked like innocent fan-to-artist exchanges now seemed predatory. Stories started surfacing from other fans too, claiming David had a pattern of reaching out to young girls and crossing boundaries. Suddenly, this wasn't just about Celeste. It was about a possible pattern of exploitation that had been ignored while David's career was on the rise. And while all this was blowing up, David's career started to crumble. Book shows quietly disappeared from Ticketmaster. Sponsors pulled out of partnerships. His streaming numbers shot up for the wrong reasons. Morbid curiosity. People weren't streaming because they loved his music anymore. They were streaming to dissect his lyrics, hunting for confessions hidden in plain sight. By the time LAPD confirmed he was a person of interest, the court of public opinion had already convicted him. In the eyes of fans, the evidence wasn't just suspicious, it was undeniable. And every day more leaks kept dropping, pulling David deeper into the darkest scandal R&B has seen in years.
Said that she had a boyfriend.
That's right, that she had a boyfriend and his name was David. And the mother never really got in contact with David, like she never saw him.
She didn't know who the David was.
She had heard of him. And it seemed like the last time that she had seen her daughter was when she had gone out with David.
The most disturbing part of this case isn't just the leaks, it's the timeline. According to fans who tracked interactions, David first connected with Celeste Rivas when she was only 12 years old. He was 17 at the time, already building a buzz in the R&B scene. At first, it looked like a typical fan-to-artist connection, liking posts, replying to comments, DM exchanges. But over time, those interactions allegedly got darker. By the time Celeste was 14, people say David was talking to her privately on Discord and Snapchat, messaging late at night, and sending songs that felt like personal love letters instead of regular fan engagement. By 15, Celeste had allegedly been seen with him in Los Angeles, though no official sightings were confirmed. Friends claimed she told them she was talking to someone older in the industry. Then in April 2024, Celeste went missing. For months, the case went quiet until her body was discovered in September 2025, in the exact condition David allegedly described in leaked calls and Discord chats. The timeline painted a picture of grooming that started with social media and ended in tragedy. What's even wilder is how silent David has been. Since the leaks dropped, there's been no official statement from him or his team. No denial, no press conference, nothing. His socials have been locked down and his label scrubbed him off their website. For fans, that silence spoke louder than words. Instead of defending himself, it looked like David was hiding, leaving the internet to assume guilt. And with every day of silence, more people piled on. The music industry wasted no time distancing itself. Brands that once hyped him as the next big thing pulled out overnight. Venues canceled bookings, festivals dropped his name, and collaborations in the works were shelved. Even streaming platforms, while not removing his music, quietly stopped pushing it in playlists. The same machine that once built him up as an R&B star turned its back instantly. It was like everyone knew the career was dead. They just didn't want to admit it publicly. For fans, this created a split. Some, in denial, argued that the leaks might be fake, AI-generated, or part of some smear campaign. But the majority weren't buying it. Between the song Celeste, the Discord screenshots, the call transcripts, and the timeline of her disappearance, there were too many connections. The public didn't need a jury. They'd already decided David was guilty in the court of opinion. And while all this chaos unfolded, one question kept surfacing. How many people knew? Did management, producers, or friends see the red flags but stay quiet to protect the brand? To fans, the silence of the people around David is almost as disturbing as his own. By now, the fallout around David Anthony Burke isn't just about one artist's downfall. It's about an entire culture being forced to face some ugly truths. R&B has seen scandals before, but this one hit different. The alleged grooming, the leaked audio, the disturbing lyrics, the Discord screenshots, it all felt like a reminder of how fame and power can be used to prey on the vulnerable. Fans who once supported David are now leading the charge for accountability, demanding that the industry stop protecting young stars who cross dangerous lines. The public outrage has been relentless. Hashtags like #Justice for Celeste continue to trend, with creators on TikTok and YouTube dissecting every angle. Twitter threads lay out timelines like case files, and Reddit communities have turned into amateur detective boards, piecing together David's moves over the years. For many, this isn't just about David anymore. It's about all the warning signs the industry ignored. The grooming timeline, the ignored red flags, the silence from people in his camp. Fans believe this tragedy could have been prevented if someone had stepped in sooner. Meanwhile, the LAPD has confirmed David is a person of interest in their homicide investigation, though no charges have been filed yet. Detectives are reportedly reviewing the leaked material, interviewing associates, and tracing David's movements around the time of Celeste's disappearance. His silence, paired with canceled shows and vanished sponsors, has only fueled the assumption that he's guilty. To the public, a statement won't cut it anymore. They want accountability, they want arrests, and they want justice for Celeste. The impact on R&B is massive. David was marketed as one of the new voices of the genre, a young talent with crossover appeal. Now, instead of love songs, his name is tied to one of the darkest stories in music. Fans have drawn comparisons to past scandals involving grooming and abuse in the industry, saying this case proves nothing has changed. The cycle just repeats with new names. For younger fans, the case has become a cautionary tale. Be careful who you idolize, because fame can hide monsters in plain sight. At the end of the day, David's story is no longer about rising fame. It's about a potential fall into infamy. Celeste Rivas's name has become a rallying cry for justice, while David's name is now stamped with suspicion, disgust, and shame. The industry has already moved on, treating him like he's radioactive, while fans are making sure the world doesn't forget what allegedly happened. Whether or not he's officially charged, the damage is done. His career, his reputation, and his freedom are hanging by a thread. And for the culture, this case is a wake-up call. It's not just about one singer or one victim. It's about pulling back the curtain on how power, silence, and exploitation thrive in the shadows. And now the whole world is watching to see if justice finally catches up.